Welcome to Module 4 of the AFH admin class. Today we're going to be talking about getting a home inspection for your adult family home. We'll cover the different types of inspections in this module, and some of these, depending upon where your house is located, will be required. So the first type of an inspection we're going to be talking about is working with your local building inspector. And then if your home is not on city water and sewer, we'll talk about getting a well water inspection and a septic system inspection if applicable for your home. Building inspection requirements may differ depending upon where your adult family home is located, and you will need to complete all of the local requirements and those on your checklist before scheduling your building inspection. We'll talk about the initial home licensing inspection by the RCS AFH licensor in Module 7. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay. So we're going to review the agenda for today's class, and we're going to discuss finding your adult family home, how to deal with a homeowners association, finding your building inspector that will do your inspection for your adult family home. We'll talk about the building inspection checklist and go through it in detail. And then we will discuss the septic and well water inspection requirements, and then what to do if you are going to add a second home in your adult family home portfolio. Okay. So the learning objectives for this module is that by the end of the module, you'll be able to discuss how to find your adult family home and the pros and cons of each option of when you find the adult family home. Explain how to find and work with your local building inspector. Describe the building inspection process and compare that to the checklist, and then identify other inspections that may be required for your adult family home. So before we start, a couple of the questions that you need to ask is, can you operate an adult family home in a neighborhood with a homeowners association? And the answer is yes, you can. Homeowners association, city and town covenants, and other jurisdictions cannot discriminate against adult family homes by law. They're covered by the Americans with Disabilities Act, okay? The second is inspection requirements are the same across the state. That is false because building inspection requirements may differ depending on which city or county you live in. So I know for a fact that we have our adult family home here in Issaquah, and when we were helping a friend open their home in Snoqualmie, when they built the home, they had to have built-in sprinkler systems for any home that is greater than 3,500 square feet. In the city of Issaquah, you do not need the built-in home sprinkler system until you're better than 4,000 square feet, okay? So it's different depending on where you are. Each county or city municipality can be different. And then next, if your building inspector is not available, the WABO, or the Washington Association of Building Officials, can do the inspection for you. That is false. The WABO is an association that maintains a website that has a list of all the local building officials. They do not do the inspections, only the building officials do. Okay. So now we're going to go into finding your adult family home. So there are a variety of ways to find an adult family home. Regardless of how you find your adult family home, it must pass all required inspections. So you need to be sure that it will meet this requirement before you lease, rent, buy, build, or remodeling. Okay. So there are several different ways to finding an adult family home. You could buy a new home and remodel it to make it meet all of the requirements of an adult family home. You can buy an existing home and do the same thing, remodeling it to make sure that it meets all the requirements. You can build a brand new home specifically designed as a an adult family home with all of the needs and desires that an adult family home requires. Or you can find an adult family home and rent or lease it from landlords. And you can also find an existing adult family home that is looking to sell as a change of ownership. So, those are some of the ways that you can go about trying to find an adult family home. When you are looking to buy or lease, one of the options that you can do is you can rent to own or lease to own. Some uh, adult family homes can be found that way depending upon the knowledge of the landlord or the person renting the home. Okay. So when you are renting or leasing a home, you want to make sure that it meets the physical plant and inspection requirements. And sometimes it may be a little more difficult. Okay. So one of the things that you need to understand is you need to have one bathroom for every four people living, or five people, excuse me, living in your home. So if you have an adult family home that is licensed for six people, you automatically will need to have a home with two bathrooms, okay? And that means full bathrooms, not just a bath and a half where you have just a powder room. Another thing is you might also need to have a ramp built in the event that it's not a single level house. And then you may also need to have the appropriate grab bars and that in the bathrooms to support assisted living. Another is you're going to need to have the landlord approval in writing, and it also needs to be submitted with your initial licensing application. It needs to indicate that the home will be used as an adult family home, and everyone who is on the title of the home needs to sign that letter, knowing that it is an adult family home that is going to be moving in there. The problem with renting or leasing a home is the landlord could possibly sell the property out from underneath you, leaving you to either find a new home, which means that you'd need to get a new license. Maybe you can offer to buy that house from the seller, or you might need to close the adult family home after transferring or discharging all of the residents. And remember, you will have to follow all of the rules for transferring and discharge that are in WAC 38876 10615. I would always seek advice from a real estate attorney when you are renting or leasing a home. Um, One of the things that you can do when renting or leasing a home is put in your contract a first right of refusal, meaning that if they do decide to sell it, you have the opportunity to buy it at whatever the appraised price comes out to be. All right. The next is buying or building or remodeling a home. So, if you're going to buy or build an adult family home, the best practice is to use a realtor who is familiar with adult family homes. Sometimes newer or remodeled homes meet the current International Residential Code requirements, but sometimes the older homes built before 2004 do not. And so when you go through that, you need to follow the International Residential Code. And in the WAC, it's WAC 51510330 that you need to review and follow. RCS uses the International Resident Code or IRC guidelines during the initial inspection. Make sure not to confuse this with the specifications of the International Building Code or the Americans with Disabilities Act. Uh, when you do that, it can come out that your builder is using the wrong code, maybe asking you to uh, make sure that all the doors in the house are at least 36 inches wide, which meets the ADA requirements, but are only you only need to follow the International Residential Code requirements, which is a 27-inch door. So you need to understand the difference between International Building Code and the Americans with Disabilities Act and how they differ with the International Residential Code. So if you have any questions when you are working with the local building official to find out if they are using the right code, all right? So it is also especially important if there is an existing ramp or if you're going to build one. You may have to replace the ramps that are not built to IRC specifications. This can be expensive and time consuming. So you can also follow in your uh, manual, the Dear Provider letter. It's called AFH 2019-013, and I believe it's on page 3 is the um, Dear Provider letter, what it talks about as far as the specifications. So you can also call the RCS inspection, Residential Inspection and Quality Assurance Program Manager if you have any questions. Their phone number is also on page 4.3 in your manual. Okay. IRC and the IBC differences are that the International Residential Code regulations apply only to residential construction. This includes new construction or the remodeling of an existing home. The IBC, International Building Code, contains regulations about practices used in commercial construction. So they have different requirements totally. Okay. So when you decide to buy an existing adult family home and you are going to do a change of ownership, that will require a new application and a new license. So the benefit of doing a change of ownership is the home requirements are grandfathered in, meaning that the requirements that were in effect at the time the home was first licensed is still relevant for your home. And so you do not have to bring it up to the current code. Um, and then also, if there is any deficiencies, a statement of deficiency or citation on the adult family home, uh, you must correct any of those deficiencies found at the time of the initial ownership. Um, Understand that when you do a change of ownership, if you have residents in the adult family home already, that means that you're going to be able to maintain the adult family home with those residents in the home unless they decide to move out. And what that'll do is that'll guarantee you income when you first start up, and that is a big advantage. Okay. So also when you are doing a change of ownership and you are submitting an application for a CHOW for that adult family home, and it is currently licensed for a capacity of 7 or 8 residents, you must be a currently licensed adult family home owner or provider that has held that license for a period of no less than 24 months. So if you buy that home and it currently has 7 or 8 residences, you will only be licensed for 6 residents for the at least 12 months prior to the application. You must receive at least 2 full inspections prior to the application with no enforcement action taken against the home during the time period, starting with the older of the 2 most recent inspections and ending at the time of the capacity increase is approved. So you will be downgraded to 6 or 7 or to 6 residents instead of 7 or 8 unless you already were a AFH provider. Okay. So next is you do when you are building a home or you are purchasing a home, you're probably going to want to plan for future capacity increase. So if you want to increase the capacity to 7 or 8, you need to consider the following that impacts your building. So you need to look at the square footage of the adult family home, the ratio of bedrooms to or residents to bathrooms, as and the septic system capacity. It needs to be able to handle the increase or enough land to update the drain field in order to support 8 residents plus the uh, live-in caregivers and any family that may be living in there. So you also need to have room for emergency uh, deliveries, staff, visitor parking, and you need a residential sprinkler system that is addressed in the Dear Provider Letter AFH 2020-026. Okay. You may also obtain a small business loan. If you need a loan, look for lenders that are familiar with adult family homes. Check out the U.S. Small Business Administration or other lenders in your community before you do that. One of the things that you may want to look at is if you buy the home as a personal asset, you can probably get better financing and interest rates with less of a down payment than if you buy it as a uh, an adult family home small business loan. Typically, those interest rates are going to be higher and they're going to want to meet more stringent requirements. Also, if you buy the home personally, you can separate it from the adult family home business and then just lease your home to your adult family home business, being able to write off more of the uh, expenses of the home and the ability to transfer or upgrade the home to what is required for your adult family home requirements. And then you have additional tax uh, benefits to that as well. Okay. So when you are increasing the capacity of the licensing requirements, so in addition to the building impacts, also you have the following required. You have been an adult family home provider for at least 24 months. And of those 24 months, you need to have at least 12 months at a full capacity of 6 residents. And then you need to go through 2 full inspection cycles with no enforcement actions or citations. Okay. So they want to make sure that you are up to owning an adult family home with the additional residents, which are identical to opening a second adult family home. So you need those same requirements to open a second adult family home. So, one of the things that a lot of adult family home providers, when they first start, believe that homeowners associations can prevent you from opening a adult family home in that neighborhood. So, if you have an issue with the adult family home, you can work with the Adult Family Home Council, and they can help you with the HOA because some adult homeowners associations may tell you that you cannot operate your adult family home in their community. However, homeowners associations, cities, towns, covenants and restrictions, or other jurisdictions cannot discriminate against adult family homes because it violates the Americans with Disabilities Act and therefore it is illegal. It also includes the covenants and other jurisdiction rules. So when you have an issue, because homeowners or adult family homes need to be located in a residential area. They cannot be in a commercial or industrial or retail zoning area. They must be in a residential area. Therefore, the homeowners cannot prevent you from opening in their community. And so the Adult Family Home Council can give you a letter explaining that, including the laws, and it was written by an attorney, and you can present that to the homeowners association to have them understand that they're violating the law if they try to make it to where you are not able to open your adult family home. Another thing that you want to be aware of is just because they cannot keep you from owning an adult family home in a homeowners association, that does not mean that you do not need to meet all of the other requirements. So if they have other requirements that everybody in the homeowners association needs to meet, you need to follow that also. So if they say that you're not able to convert garages into living areas, you cannot do that. If you have to paint the house a certain color, or you have to have a fence of a certain height and a different type, all of that type of stuff you need to follow. So you do need to follow the homeowners association. They just cannot prevent you from opening the adult family home. Okay. So next we're going to be talking about the WABO inspector. So you need to find your building inspector, and WABO stands for the Washington Association of Building Officials. This is a nonprofit professional association of state, county, and city town officials in Washington state engaged in the development, enforcement, and administration of building construction codes and other ordinances. They the WABO website maintains a list of local building officials in the state of Washington, but they do not do inspections. Even though you hear from a lot of people about a WABO inspection, WABO is just a nonprofit association of building officials. They don't do the inspections or anything like that. So when you are looking for a building official, you would need to find the local building official or building inspector for your current jurisdiction. Okay. So what you can do is you can look in your manual on page 4.5 and 4.6 in order to find your WABO inspector, and they're going to have you um, look at the website. Let me bring in the website really quick, and then I'll share it with you. Okay. So when you click on this link, it's going to take you to the Washington Association of Building Officials. So it's wabo.org. And what you're going to do is you're going to need to find the building officials. So you click on the red button on the first page. It just, as you come in, and it lets you find your local building official. So you click on the button, it will take you to a search engine so that you're able to search for who the inspector is for your local jurisdiction. So let's say that you live in the city of Issaquah. All right, so I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to just use my city as an example. So I chose the city of Issaquah, and then I click search. So when it comes up, it didn't come up. So when you choose it, it should come up with the name of the building official for that city. All right, so the building official for Issaquah is James Gray. It gives you the address, where they're located, the phone number, fax number, and the email association uh, for that person, and you can get a hold of them to help you determine what and how you need to obtain the building inspection. All right. And so you just go ahead and give them a call and you ask them the questions. There are a couple of more questions in the manual that you can look under. Another thing is sometimes, let's go back to the home page, and we'll go to the Finding a Building Official again. There are some times when you are not located in the city proper, okay? So in that case, it might be the county of, like this says Adams County. Um, Bellevue is the city. King County is the uh, county for that area. So if you needed to go and find out if you are going to find a building official for unincorporated King County, you would click the jurisdiction of King County, click search, and I don't know why it keeps doing that. King County, and click search. And instead of James Baker, it's Kim Barker. and it's King County Department of Permitting down in Renton, the phone number, and the email account. Okay. And so the way to find out if you are a in the county or if you are in the city as a whole, you can just go to Google Maps. So I am going to type in Issaquah, and when I search for Issaquah, it gives me the red lines outlining the city jurisdiction. So if your home is inside of that city jurisdiction, then you go to the city of Issaquah. We used to live down here off of May Valley Road, and that was unincorporated King County. So then I would go to King County rather than to the city of Issaquah. So if you do not know if you're part of the city or if you're out in the unincorporated county, you can look on Google Maps similar to that. The difference is if you're in a more rural area, you're probably in the county compared to being in the city. All right. So if you know that you're on a septic and a well, you are probably in a rural a more rural county in a more rural area, and it might not be uh, covered in the city proper. All right, so you can find that, or you can look at your uh, county property tax records to find out if you're in or out of the county. Okay, let's go back to the PowerPoint. So when you are in the PowerPoint, all right, we're going to be talking about the building inspection proper. Um, so you are required to obtain any licenses and permits when you are doing a renovation or a remodeling of your adult family home when you're getting it ready. If you have to, sometimes you can do remodeling without a permit. That's typically paint or finish work or stuff like that. But if you're moving any walls or if you're doing anything with electricity or plumbing or any of that, then you will need to pull permits. All right. So you must complete any construction that you are needing to meet the minimum licensing requirements when you are converting your adult family home. The building inspector may ask for requirements that aren't in the state rules or statutes. If they do, ask about the code that they are using. Call the residential uh, care services inspection and quality assurance manager with the code that you need, or if you have any questions. The manager can answer any questions, or they can have someone on their team intercede on your behalf. Sometimes the inspector tries to use one of the wrong codes, like instead of the International Residential Code, they try to use the International Building Code or the Americans with Disabilities Act. Okay. So you also want to make sure that everything is done prior to calling the building inspector for the final inspection, and then um, make sure that you print out the AFH building inspection checklist and have a copy of it available. You can find the copy of the building inspection checklist on page 4.6 in your manual. So the building inspection checklist, okay, you're going to want to have that printed out and ready to go. It will include everything that is a code requirement for the home inspection from WAC 5151 330, section R330. The inspector must use this form to substantiate the requirements. If you pass, ensure that they have marked the box passed and signed the form. This document is required and it is part of your application. The building inspectors may not always interpret building codes the same across the state. Once your building inspector passes your home, review the form, look and make sure all of the required items in the IRC, such as grab bars in the shower and by the toilet, If they're not checked, you will still need to complete the task. Your licensor will verify completion before they can recommend licensure. So remember that even though the building inspection is only part of the inspection process and the building inspector passes the home, RCS will also conduct an inspection. And once your applications are accepted, RCW will or RCS will conduct an initial home AFH inspection. The licensor uses different rules, and you're going to need to address any safety or other issues that do not meet the licensing requirements. The licensor will verify corrections before the approval of your license, okay? And you will find the phone numbers for the quality assurance manual or manager in your manual on page 4.6 and 4.7, okay? So the building inspection checklist is right here. You're able to download it from the website, okay? The link to that document is on page 4.6 in your manual. So I'm going to click on 4.6 or the building inspection page, right? And so um, when you click on the link in your manual, it will take you to the DSHS website, and it says AFH building inspection. Go ahead and go to the building inspection checklist. You click on that link, and it will allow you to download that directly to your um, computer. Okay, I'm gonna put it into uh, my assignments and save it to my hard drive, and then I'll be able to open up that document in the Word document. Okay. All right. Here, the Word document. Okay. So this is the building inspection checklist, and you can turn to page 10 in your manual to review it, but I went ahead and opened it up in Word so we can take a look at it. All right. So section 1, you're going to put down the address of your adult family home. If you are the owner of the property, you would know what your assessor's tax parcel number is. So you put the tax parcel number down there. If you are the owner of the property or it's in an LLC, you would go ahead and put the property owner's name here. If it's an LLC, go ahead and put the name of the LLC that owns it, or if it's in your personal name, or you and your spouse, or you and your spouse and a brother, or whoever, put that information down as well as the daytime phone number. If your adult family home uh, licensee, the person that you're going to have the license put in, the license whose name you're putting it into, if it's different from the property owner name, you would put that name and the phone number there. And then in this page, you're going to need to create on a separate sheet of paper. You're going to draw a floor plan of all of the different floors of your adult family home. Okay. So when you are doing that, let me show you um, what it's going to look like. It does not need to be a full version of the plans. You do not need to have an architect plan or anything like that. You can actually draw it up on a 8.5 by 11 and use that. All right, let me show you what we did in our home. All we did is we opened up a Word document or a PowerPoint document and just used boxes for each of the rooms. So this is the main floor in our adult family home. We have a kitchen with a pantry. We have the dining room, the living room, a hallway all the way around. In the center, we have the pantry and the laundry room, bath one, bath two, a coat closet, and then bath three. And then on the outside walls, we have bedrooms for 5 people, bedroom A, B, C, D, E, and then the office, and then back door out the back here. So this is as simple as it needs to be. You can just use boxes to draw that, all right? You need to label all of the bedrooms, bedroom A through bedroom F. We only have 5 bedrooms, so it's labeled through E. All right, and we also use this as our emergency evacuation plan. We just draw the arrows to go out to the main exit, okay? So that is as easy as it needs to be, but you need to have this drawing for the inspector when they come into the home, all right? And then you label all components: stairs, ramps, platforms, lifts, and elevators. Down here, name and your title, whether you are the applicant, the property owner, or the licensee. You check all that apply, and then the date that it was created. Then you can read through the instructions for section R330 in the WAC. It goes through everything from sleeping room classifications, door locking devices, smoke and carbon monoxide, windows and doors, fire apparatus access roads and water supply for fire protection, grab bar general requirements, the cross section of the grab bar, how to install the grab bars. Swing up grab bars shall not be required to meet the 1.5 inch spacing requirement. Um, Grab bars for water closets, which are the toilets themselves. Fixed position, swing up grab bars, so all of that you need to read through so that you understand it. Vertical grab bars, horizontal grab bars, the ramps, handrails for ramps, stair, tread and risers, and then tread and handrails for stairs. Shower stalls, it gives you the minimum size for a shower stall in an adult family home, which is 30 inches deep by 48 inches long. And then the last 2 pages or 3 pages are all of the specific requirements. This is where the inspector is going to start filling out. They're going to check what box meets the requirements. So if you have stairs going to the bedroom, it'll be a type S. You have no stairs and there's only one mean of egress from the home, it would be NS1. If it's 2 types of egress from the room, it's NS2. Uh, it asks if the closet doors are readily openable from the inside, yes or no. Is a smoke alarm installed in the bedroom, yes or no. Bedroom doors open easily and quickly from the outside when locked, meaning do you have the capability of opening it either with a key or if it's a privacy lock using a coin or a pin to open the door lock, yes or no. Talks about the sleeping windows, gives you a specific size and minimum height and a minimum width, and the fact that if you just meet the minimum height and minimum width, that does not meet the net square footage opening. So if you have a 24-inch high, you need at least wider than 20 inches and vice versa. And then is the sleeping room window has a maximum sill height of 44 inches above the floor to the clear opening. So is the window low enough, which means that it needs to be 44 inches from the window opening down to the bottom and cannot include steps. So it goes through that for each of the sleeping rooms, A through F. Then there is general requirements. Bathroom doors easily openable from the outside when locked. Are there carbon monoxide alarms installed on each level of the home? In our home, we have a 3-level home, so you need to have one carbon monoxide alarm on each level. Smoke detectors are installed on each level of the dwelling, in each resident's sleeping room, and then outside each separate sleeping areas in the immediate vicinity of the sleeping rooms. And they're installed in such a manner that the audible warning is heard throughout all parts of the dwelling upon activation of a single device. That means that all of the smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors all need to be interconnected so that if one goes off, they all go off. All right. That can either be by having an extra wire, which has been code since 2004. So it's a data wire that connects all of the smoke detectors. If it's an older home, you can use wireless smoke detectors so that they're all interconnected without the wire. All right. The next is accessible road and water supply for a fire truck, operable parts of the door handles, pulls, latches, and locks, operable with one hand and shall not require tight grasping, pinching, or twisting of the wrist, which means that it needs to be a lever style uh, door lock or door latch. All right. So that means that when you find the door latch, that or it needs to be a lever. So hold on a second. Let me go in. I have a wish list in Amazon that has samples of everything. And so let me share this with you. Okay, this is just a wish list on Amazon. This is the wireless interconnected smoke detectors. This is the lever style door hardware for all of your doors, including the exit door on the outside. Fire extinguishers, the outside door latch going outside needs to be what's called interconnected so that if the door is locked, the deadbolt is locked, just by a sweep of the handle, it will automatically unlock the deadbolt for you. That is required for all exit doors or the primary exit door. Okay. Um, this is an instant read digital thermometer. This is what they use to check the water temperature in your house. You will need to have a medication safe or something like that for refrigerated medications. So we have one of these in our refrigerator for medication that requires refrigeration. This is the required size of the safety grab bar. This is the flip up grab bar for the toilets. And so these are just the other things that you can use. Okay. This is a cam lock for cabinets. We use this for our uh, medication cabinet. We just converted one of our kitchen cabinets into a medication locker by installing one of these. And then we also installed these on the uh, base cabinet under the kitchen or under the sink in the laundry room where we keep soap and any of the cleaning products so that they do not have access to that with it out without it being locked. Okay. So let's go back to the checklist. All right. So we talked about all of those. Pocket doors also need to have graspable hardwares. The pocket door is the door that opens, slides in and out of the wall instead of the sweep that goes into the room. This talks about the ramp. All ramps need to have a 1 vertical unit to 12 horizontal units. So for every inch of height your ramp needs to go up, you need to have 1 foot of run. So it needs to be an 8.3% slope. And if you'll remember in my um, Amazon wish list, there was a digital level that could give that to you exactly. All right. The landing on a ramp is needs to be 3 foot by 3 foot at the top and the bottom. And anytime the door opens onto a ramp or where the ramp changes direction. So as an example, the door is here going into a unit. There is a 3 foot by 3 foot landing at the top and a 3 foot by 3 foot landing at the bottom. And so you have that. You also have handrails on both sides of the ramp. And for every inch of height, there's a foot of run. All right. And then you have handrails on both sides, and then you will have guards located on any open-sided walking surface that is located more than 30 inches when measured from the ground to the bottom of the ramp, okay? So any point the grade is greater than 30 inches, you need to have the guardrail. All right. Next is the means of egress. The door, exterior door going outside, that means the means of egress. The door must be side hinged with a minimum width of 32 inches between the face of the door and the stop, height not less than 78 inches. The door handles need to be lever type, and the exit door hardware shall unlock inside and outside mechanisms when exiting the building, allowing re-entry without the use of a key, tool, or special knowledge. Then your stairways, if you have any stairways, the max riser height is 7 3/4 of an inch, and the max riser, this should be the max tread, is 10 inches. So this is a duplicate, it needs to be corrected. And then handrails on each side of the stairs on both sides from the bottom all the way to the top. All right. And then grab bars in bathrooms. Grab bars shall be installed on all water closets, such as toilets, bathtubs, showers, according to R330.8. Water closets shall have grab bars installed on both sides. Um, the bathtub shall have 2 vertical and 3 horizontal grab bars installed. Shower stalls have 2 vertical and horizontal grab bars mounted on all sides of the shower accordingly. And then shower stalls must be a minimum of 30 inches deep by 48 inches high. All right. So let me take you to a picture of a bathroom. Okay. So this bathroom that I am showing you is a large bathroom or a large shower. All right. You need to have on both sides of the shower horizontal or vertical grab bars, 2 vertical grab bars on each side. And so it can either be within 6 inches of the opening, either inside or outside of the shower. And then you need grab bars on the all sides of the walls, right? So the head, the back end, and the side wall of the shower. So that is the grab bars for the showers, okay? This is the grab bars for a toilet. You need to have the grab bars for the toilet located on each side. It can either be if you have a wall like this, it can be mounted to the wall, and then you have a pull down grab bar on the other side. You cannot use any vanities as a grab bar, so you have to replace that. And then the showers need to be a minimum of 48 inches wide, 30 inches deep, with two vertical grab bars and 3 horizontal grab bars on that. In this situation, this shower was only when they installed the shower door, it only had 29 inches from the back wall to the inside of the shower door, meaning that this shower is unable to be used for um, residents. So we had to screw it closed. If they would have left it and just had a regular shower curtain, it would have been fine. Okay. So just be aware of that. And then let me show you. So this is an example of a regular horizontal grab bar that's mounted to the wall, and then a pull down grab bar right here. All right. Let me go back to the Word document. All right. So when all of this, you want to make sure that all of these are marked yes or no. So every line needs to have one of the options checked, and then this past checkbox needs to be checked as well. You need to make sure that the name of the adult family home is right here, the address of the adult family home is there, the building inspector's name is printed, their signature and date, and the address and office phone number of the inspector is there. Okay, so that is the requirements for the building inspection. Now let's go back to the PowerPoint. All right, so another checklist that you're going to need to have is a septic system. If you are not on a sewer where you, or if you're not in the sewer, like you're in the city and you connect to the city sewer, then you need to have the septic system inspected. So if you are in a city area, it's easy to connect to the city sewer and city water, so you wouldn't need the septic inspection. But if you have a septic system, uh, it may your septic system is typically just for your house alone. Sometimes it's shared with another property, but typically not. And so it needs to have the septic tank, which is this here, uh, where the solids and the liquid go, and then the liquid runs off in the drain field, so it leaches out into the ground. Okay, so wastewater travels through one pipe from your home and connects to the septic system. And if it is a sewer, then it is connected to the wastewater treatment facility, and then the local public works department maintains the sewer system and they charge a fee to you. If you have a septic tank, the wastewater moves from your home into the holding tank, and then most of the wastewater will then move to the drain field through the drain lines. And the septic tank needs routine monitoring, maintenance, and plumbing. And so it's your responsibility to maintain the septic system. So you need to make sure that you're have the documentations that verify that the septic system was inspected and approved. It is aware that the septic system will be utilized for an adult family home and the number of people it can accommodate on the septic system. So when you have it inspected, it will give you all of that specific information. Okay. So you need to make sure that you have the ability to have more than uh, the number of people that are living in your home. So if you're licensed for 6 residents and then you have 2 caregivers, and let's say you had a resident manager and their family living in the home. So they have a husband and spouse or the co-resident managers, and they have 2 kids. That would be 4 people. And then you have 6 residents. That would be a total of 10 people. And then you have 2 caregivers that worked periodically. That would be a total of 12 people. So you need to make sure that your septic system will support 12 people on it. Okay. Um, and then if you have well water, so typically you will typically have a well or a small public water system for your home. And so you need to provide documentation from your local health authority that the well water has been inspected and approved as a Group B system. Group B public water systems have fewer than 15 connections and fewer than 25 people per day. So the Office of Drinking Water and local health jurisdiction regulate the Group B systems in our state. You can find all of that information on page 8 in your manual. Okay. So, in the event that you want to add a second home to your adult family home portfolio, or you again wanted to expand your adult family home from 6 to 8, you have the same requirements. You need to maintain your first adult family home license for at least 24 months with no enforcement action. You also need to show evidence of successfully completing the adult family home admin training. You need to show the ability to operate more than one home at a time. You will update and maintain plans for each home that you intend to operate, and the plans must show how you are going to staff your home 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and manage uh, the daily operations of each of your homes. You need to also plan for emergencies and deliveries, staff and visitor parking. You need a demonstrated history of financial solvency related to the ability to provide care and services to others, and a different resident manager is at each home who is responsible for the care of each resident at all times. So before you apply for a third or subsequent adult family homes, you need to wait 12 months since the issuance of the previous license unless you are applying for a CHOW. And you need to have 12 months with no enforcement action against your currently licensed adult family homes. If you need to relocate to another home, you must complete a new application and complete all of the required inspections. That's why you want to be careful of when you are leasing a home. In the event that they sell your home, then you're going to need to uh, find a new property and move into it in order to get your home licensed again. So, as a summary, uh, there are a lot of different resources that have been included in this module. So go back and watch the other videos and explore for other information. Make sure that you understand what you've learned in this module and understand exactly what the top takeaway is. So in this, we learned how to find your adult family home and the pros and cons of each options of whether to buy, lease, rent, or build. You need to we talked about how to find and work with a local building inspector. We talked about the building inspection process and how to use the checklist, and then about other inspections that may be required. Okay. So, as a test of our knowledge, question number one, what is the other types of inspections that may be required? First off, we have the adult family home building inspection. And then if you are living in a rural area where you're on a septic and a well, you need to have a septic inspection and well water tested and inspected. Okay. True or false, you can relocate your adult family home to a new building, just use the same license. All you need to do is change the address. True or false? That's false. Each license is for a specific location or address and you, the person. So anytime you're moving to a new home, you need to get a brand new license and it needs to be inspected. Question three, true or false, your license can be approved even though you did not pass your home inspection. False. You must pass the home inspection and include the signed pass checklist with your application. So you want to get ready for your next class. All right. The next module is going to be module 5. So you want to read through module 5 and then print out a copy of the application and instructions if you need to. And we will begin talking about that in the next video. Thank you.